khara koribo aro president ahina national free unfurl nugratak amatso khara korina thakibo itu ekta request korese. Thank you.
Immediately followed by military parade by Naga Army.
Nation is loud! Present! Up! One line! Move to the right! Right! Turn! Platoon commander, take your position! Right! Platoon! Oh, right!
आज विषय मौन प्रौलाइकन खुशी इनिका एकदम बिजी स्केड्यूल थकले भी अपनी खान इनवाइट करान शिना ये तो ऐसे अमी खान नागा यूनिफिकेशन कुरा नाम परा एकदम बिजी थकले भी नागा नेशनल पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स इनवाइट करान शिना किमान आये लोग एकदम डांगर रेस्पेक्ट अपनी खान के दिया से आगे दे अपनी खान वेलकम नौकरा तो अपन खान आमी खान एक आसे इतो प्राय लास्ट एकदम स्पेशल रखता है एकदम खुशी पर आरो वेलकम करबले थका तो the family members of martyrs who laid down their life for the cause of this Naga unification. On this day, in the year 2017, many leaders, national leaders and workers from different Naga political groups came together and formed this Naga unification. And today, we are celebrating the 17th years of Naga unification. We are blessed and honored to have you all here this morning. Bishamunpra, Kushipra Ulakina, apni kan leaders, Naga leaders kan ami mention kurbo para na para, soya bahikena chera dekhibo para nimiti. खुशी आसे
More than ever, at this moment, the Naga people are faced with mounting challenges, both from within and without. This we must reason and act together. Our historical situation is allowing Naga society, squandered by cultural and political lack, And now, Nagas can no longer provide our national rights to be determined according to the careless tongues of unprincipled political scammers, nor domesticated individuals under the guise of national workers. The sacred Naga National Trust belongs to all the Nagas and not only to a few. FNR hopes that the Nagas will be matured enough to be more perceptive and understanding of the world around us. To save ourselves from the chasm we are staring at, we must leave behind the current personal and group policies and change the political order among the Nagas. This change has to come through the inclusive democratic process of Naga political groups and the Naga public for defining and living out the Naga nation without further delay. Nagas require transformed and competent leaders with new ideas and vision for moving ahead collectively. Seemingly divided as it looks, what binds the Naga people together is the essence of Naga nationalism, of Simon Commission, the Declaration of Naga Independence, and the Naga plebiscite. This is the hope for every individual on the land of the Nagas. Therefore, this is also a call for us to remain steadfast by embracing all Nagas without borders. The GPRN NSCN has rendered its support to the FNR for Naga reconciliation since its inception in the year 2008, and we remain grateful for this trust. It is our hope that at this time of urgency, the GPRN NSCN will be intentional, pave wider avenues, and provide the space for change to take place. God's abundant blessing to you all. Kugnaling.
It's almost a century now. Naga manu nijor laga mati nijor laga manu ke bachawo koi kena amikan political struggle kuriya ha. Itia amikan 2007 te basically it was the target was to bring the two warring factions, the two warring NSCN factions. Inika Kurigana Amikan 2007 itu din pra Unification Laga initiative loishe. To in the course of our journey, the 17th years, itia duita bunawale ko to dosta NSN hoi jaise. And yet, kali failure pi nai, success story pi thakishe. Amikan FNR aro GB Federation kan pra patronize kuri kana taikan pra effort di kana aro NGO civil society so pra support kuri kana amikan Naga majate fratricidal violence aro bloodshed to recover pari kana ajitak amikan ikki gorte bohiwa na parle bi mara mari tu khatom kuri kana itia amikan sob amikan laga goal tu kinika hoi kana honorable political solution howa lage koi kana amikan alag alag jagate bohi thakile bi sob ekta jagate jama na parle bi mon tu babna tu aro kam tu tate phane sai kena kam kori jai ase itia amikan time punchise neki amikan kon jagate kote pra amikan giri jaise ki nimite amikan laga goal tu ite tak realize kro na pari kena inika thaki ase amikan nijor ke hudi bole laga amikan time punchise neki koi kena amikan sob babna korole laga amikan Naga manukan tu national workers tu bishi ase ko ase hole bi usa prabi amikan genuine patriot aro amikan genuine revolutionary ideologue tu thakishena nai amikan sob Christian tu ko ase amikan preacher kan bi bishi ase missionary kan bi bishi ase hole bi amikan usa prabi true disciple of Christ. Itu discipleship tu amikan thakishena thaka nai. Amikan hi Naga manuhi, amikan national worker kan hi nim sim life, amikan laga style, amikan hi bodli kuruwa na amikan laga banner, amikan laga motto Nagaland for Christ, itu hi amikan change kuro lagi wo. Amikan nation building kuro ase na, amikan nation ke destroy kuro ase. Nijor nimite kam kuro ase na nijor laga life pi dige na nation ke bachawa koi ke na kam kuro ase. Amikan itu sob kali national workers ekla no hai, civil society NGOs charges ekla no hai, public pi sob milai ke na amikan ki pra girishe ki pra no puncha hoise ki nimite amikan itia tak amikan laga goal tu target tu no punchi ke na thaki ase amikan sob babna kuri ke na ami no hoile ami no parile manu ke pi parwole na dibo ami khawa par na kole alag ke pi khawa na dibo. Ami hi uncha sitte no bohile to Allah ke tu bohiwala na dibo koi gena inika ami kan leaders kan workers kan pra bishi deri inika nijor nimite hi jor pra takot pra inika khara kore aha pra naga manu tu bishi banga bangi ahe jaise neki itu nimite ami kan pi itia inika unification day inika din te shuru kuri gena itu din pra shuru kuri gena ami kan Nijor prai no pancha nimite leaders pra no pancha nimite naga man tu duk pasine ki koi gana amikan leaders pra tani gana amikan nim sim botli kuri gana age jaile bal hone ki koi gana tu bi bapna kurase.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last headhunters, they have presented this item in the All India Cultural Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, through these songs which they are going to present, the team exile and honor the Naga Unification Day while glorifying His Excellency the President General retired MP Nokpa Konyak and Honorable Advocacy Sir Ales Avenu, the Commander-in-Chief General Samson Aye. Through this song, the team also invite God's will and wisdom upon them for the better service of the Nagas. The song also reminds once again that the Nagas as a nation is a God-chosen and placed people with which all the Naga must endure for in unity till the command call is derived. Kugnalem. Aji laga din Naga Unification Day ke honor kori ase aro amahan laga President His Excellency General retired MP Nokpa Honorable Advocacy Sir Ales Avenu, Commander-in-Chief General Samson Aye, itu kanabra takhan ke press kori ase aro takhan bra itu kanabra isor laga icha aro isor laga wisdom amahan laga leaders kan ke divi kori kina kana de ase aro itu kanabra amahan sob ke yadi jama guri kina thaga sob manu khan ki koi ase Naga to ekta nation ase aro itu tu isur pra choose kuri kina thaga aro yadi thaga Naga khan to sob isur pra place kora khan ase aro dakhan amalogoti pura akha ase hope ase faith ase amahan bra amahan nation nimite kam to aro phal guri kina ekta goal nimite jabole laga bhavana de takan ido presentation to kore ase.
আমি অন বিহাফ অফ নাগালেণ্ড ট্ৰাইবছ কাউন্সিল খালি 2-3টা কথা ক'ব। ইয়াতে এনেকুৱা আমাক জমা হোৱাটো ইছ্যু লগা মঞ্জুৰ আছে আৰু ইউনিফিকেশ্যন কেম্প পৰা এনেকুৱা কৰাটো ইছ্যু লগা wisdom আছে, ইছ্যু লগা গাইডেন্স পৰা কৰি আছে। আমি বেছি তাকাংকে থিংছ দি আছে আৰু নাগা লগা পলিটিকেল খিচা কৰিলে নাগা পলিটিকেল হিষ্ট্ৰী কৰিলেতো বহুত লম্বা আছে। 1929 পৰা আমাক সামেন কমিশ্যন পৰা আহাটো 1935 শ্বেৰ হাইড্ৰ আলি লগা এগ্ৰিমেণ্ট খান কোৱাটো পলিটিক্স কাউন্ট বেছি লম্বা আছে। এইটো কান চাৰি কিনা আমাক ৱাৰ্ড কৰি কিনা 1964 পৰা ফাৰ্ষ্ট চিজফায়াৰ আহিছে ষ্টেট বনা পিছিতে এইটো বি ব্ৰক অফ হৈছে, এইটো বি ভাঙাই কিনা চিজফায়াৰটো জ্বলাব নপৰা হৈছে। 1975 শ্বিলং একৰ্ড বনাইছে, এইটো বি এগ্ৰী নহয় কিনা ভাঙাই কিনা যাইছে আৰু দ্য অফ শ্বট শ্বিলং একৰ্ড 75টো একচেপ্ট নকৰাৰ কাৰণে NNC আৰু NSCN IM স্প্লিট হৈ যাইছে, দুটা হৈ যাইছে আৰু এনেকুৱা কৰি কিনা নামিলি কিনা ফিকশ্যন হৈ যাইছে। তাৰ পাছত গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়া আৰু IM 1997 চিজফায়াৰ ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰাটো এতিয়া 27 years যাই আছে আৰু 2015 3rd August NSCN IM আৰু গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়া এগ্ৰিড হৈছে, চাইন কৰিছে। এতিয়া 9 years যাই আছে। লাইকৱাইজ NNPG আৰু গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়াৰ লগত এগ্ৰিড পজিশ্যন এইটো এগ্ৰি কৰা চাইন কৰাটো এতিয়া 8 সাল যাই আছে। তো আমি নাগা খান খালি এগ্ৰিমেণ্ট কৰিব, এইটো ব্ৰেক অফ কৰিব, এগ্ৰিমেণ্ট কৰিব, ব্ৰেক অফ কৰিব, এনেকুৱাটো হৈ থাকিব নেকি? টাইম হেজ কাম। What is what? কি আছে এইটো চিন্তা কৰিব লাগে, সলিউশ্যনটো আহিব লাগে। People have become so impatient. People are tired of hearing underground fiction, ceasefire agreement. No. Enough time we've wasted, enough blood we've shed, enough innocent life we've lost. The Nagas have lost so many precious life. We cannot take them back. Ito kan kuri ahato laga kila pa siya mga. Eno na tagibo to. Ang mga human beings, Nagas are not second to any other human being. We are equally human being like Americans, Russia, China. They are also human being. Ang mga pinakagito, because of this problem, because of unsolved political issue, we are suffering. We are going through so much of hardships. Kupuna pare, inuwa disturb area lagay dibo, Afsa lagay dibo, ki lagay dibo, time de marka tagibo. Aron Nagas remain divided, shall be divided and subdivided. 20 faction upon who has a gun business goribo. Enough is enough, please. Nagaland to American Poibuto, American Laga Pachakan Poibuto, American Laga future immediate Papana Goribolage, Edubra. Whatever IM have agreed and signed on 3rd August 1997, they should stick to that. NNPG 17 November 2017 sign Gorado, respect Loge, Edu Anibolage, solution Aibolage. Manokanto dal phat khathakibo amakata mati nakabuto nagakambi phat khabole munasito naga kisman naga Americans kanto scientific lar hoina ase kisman mondibi astronaut jaboli ase we are not less than other nationals. Itu para ami Nagaland Tribes Council kan koboli thagato itia ki to hoise ki noksang hoise charipe lagi de ikel ko hebi ara apni kan government of India ko sign korado, agree korado, apne ka naam digena korado. Ki dise ito logena solution aibe. Nagaland is a rich country. We are sitting on gold mine. Sona to amekan laga mati petu de asito kintu ulapan na pare. Ego ulapan na pare because of this unsettled political issue. Ito pare apna ka be man to koribe. Na public be man to koribe dibe. Ki to practical ase ground realities to accept korigena moram para Joldi, ito Naga political solution to ahile phal. I speak this on behalf of all the tribes in Nagaland, including Inbo. They are with us.
Nagaland GB Federation President to Sri Salim Konyak. Kindu dai gao olop thik nai. Ninga grina jahibu paranai. Kindu amar team GB Federation Office Bears. Ami ki loigina. Unification celebration di jaigina kotekta duita. Kobi Gambrala Babna. Itu garni. I'm a General Secretary. Moreover, I'm a Peace Committee Convener. GB Federation du Kurubi, Ininga Kurugina. Itu ase itu garni. I'm to on behalf of Nagaland GB Federation, I'm to timeless. Bosti Manulaga, Kambra Khan Laga Bhabna Aji Koboli Aji Kharase. Naga political issue is not belongs to a particular faction. Holebi Naga political issue to Naga people's laga say. That is number one. Revolutionist Khan transparency kurigina government of India logo negotiation kurbolaki. Inaga public to Bhabda and various leaders of Nagaland Bhabda Khan do it yes. Accordingly, unify Kurusha, sub unify Kurubo Norlebi, majority to unify Kurusha. And this is the mother of unification. Unify, Naga unification. Naga Kurgina under the umbrella, under the leadership of unification, GPRN NSCN bra, lead Kurgina, Nagamano, Milai Share. Nagamano to, yes, sovereignty, Garani, your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father. Choli, gena, Aishato. And now it is hand down to you and me. Iniga Kurgina Itia. Nagamano Milalian Hobo Gogina unify Kurushe. To unification Kurgina. Bishekta fruitful. Palata result paishe. That is Nagamano Namila Kunba faction to Namila Manu Tagilebi. Mila Mantu Milaigena. Call it NNPG Working Committee. Kurgina Government of India logo negotiate close Kurgina se. Kila Niga Hosha Naga Manu mandate NSCN. I am logo dishile for the sovereignty. But the government of India completely drop it. Itu bro, aro integration be kurban nori niga koi dishe itu guardi Naga Manu milai keno. Especially Nagas, mainland of Nagaland. Itu do kiman faction se milai keno. Government of India logo kotha kurbo. We have given our mandate.
What began as a mass Naga movement in the beginning is gradually dying a natural death. Today, we must acknowledge that our once mighty movement has now lost impetus, weakened by the pandemic of division, vested interests, and isms. In just a few years, our adversaries have not only erased the memories of our costly journey from the hearts and mind of today's generation, but they are also sparing no expense to rewrite our history by sowing discord among our tribes, regions, and among the Naga people. There are so much misconception and confusions among our political stands among the young Nagas today. And though our leaders recognize this great adversary, both foreign and within ourselves, We are unwilling to free ourselves from the shackles of our own shortfalls. It has become almost hypocritical for most of us to even preach about what is right and wrong. We have reached a point where we cannot even speak up our minds freely from or with our Nagas because we feel insecure, because we do not know which school of thought or ideology that person might be aligned with. We cannot call a spade a spade. We cannot accept criticism. Perhaps we should stop pointing fingers at one another after all. Factionism and division has corroded the very moral of the Naga people, both young and old. We cannot deny that there are divisions in our churches, within our student platforms, and civil society organizations. There are vested tribal interests, and so forth. We proclaim ourselves nation for Christ, where on Sunday we are told to love our neighbors as ourselves. But when Monday comes, again, we are divided on multiple fronts in our administration, in our halls of learning, in our justice system, and in our everyday lives. We must, each of us, acknowledge this reality and own up our shortcomings without pointing fingers at one another if we are to forge ahead as one Naga and one nation. On this note, the Naga Student Federation, as the voice and the consciousness of the younger generation, as a generation which have inherited a society tempered by war, beaten down in numbers by decades of bloodshed and violence, torn apart and segregated by territorial lines and artificial boundaries. We call for unity among the various CSOs, governments, entities, and Nagas across all walks of life, remembering that the strength of a nation lies not only in its geography, but in the hearts and mind of the Naga people. We call for peace and unity, and by that we mean peace not merely in the absence of conflict, but a state where diverse schools of thoughts coexist and collaborate for the greater good. Unity is not in the absence of differences, but accepting that the strength of each entity, tribe, and region can be held together into one diverse caravan of progress as one Naga. We also wish to iterate that the path to a dignified Naga future lies not only in the political negotiations, but also in building bridges of trust and understanding among all stakeholders and the Naga people as a whole. Together we can create a nation where every voice finds its audience, every culture is respected, where every Nagas would breathe the air of liberty and our collective potentials are fully realized. I, on behalf of the Naga Student Federation, extend heartily greetings on the occasion of 17th Naga Unification Day. May God bless us all. May God be with our leaders and all those who have dedicated our life in the service of the nation. Kuknalim, thank you.
Isun saidi daga sopra ito nishana tangor tin Naga Unification 17 Naga Unification Day yat kuradia karuni kushipa operde apnang ke aman laga moram salam सबके जाने दिए से किसादे न जाबो अमी अमागन ईसन खन एफएनडी तो चीले कारुनी जैसे गुले अपना सब जाने ऐसे अमागन नागा पॉलिटिकल ते हाथ न छोए काम गुरी जाबो कारुनी पृथ्वी दे खोल लागे स्पेस ते जाए ऐसे पृथ्वी का अमान भी दिखापरा दिबो लागे पृथ्वी दे की लागे ऐसे इतो कारुनी अमान इसकन अमान एक लाइन होए अमार नाका नेशनल वर्ड्स कन भी मिलाए बिले कोथा पूरा इतो कन सब अके जाबो कारुनी दो पृथ्वी दे और अमार नागा खन थका जगह दे शांति थाई वो लगे इतो करुणी
আমাৰ সব মিলাই পেলাই পিছবাৰ কথা কৰি আছে 2 নম্বৰতে নাম প্ৰাহি নহয় কিন্তু নাগা মানুহ মন মিলাই পেলাই কাম একটা হৈ পেলাই ভাৱনা একটা হৈ পেলাই কৰি যাইলেহি ভাৱনা পৌঁছিব আমাৰ লগা আজি কাম কি আছে এইটো কাৰণে আমাৰ লগা স্থানটো এইটোৱেই আছে আমাৰ খান একলা ভাৱনা কৰা নহয় though ENPO is from grassroots level আমাৰ organization-টো Naga National লগা কামতে কিমান কবাল পিয়া গ্ৰুপ পিছু যাইছে আমাৰ খান ফেকশন পিছু যাইছে কিন্তু আমাৰ নাছাৰি পেলাই আজি কিনা কৰি যাব পাব্লিক কিনা শান্তিতে থাকিব এইটো কাৰণে আমাৰ মিলাই পেলাই কাম কৰি যা লগা আজি বি আমাৰ ENPO পৰা এইটো হি আপিল কৰিব মন আছে আৰু কাম কৰিব লাগে আমাৰ খান একটা হইলেহি আজেতে কাম কৰি যাতে ঈশ্বৰ পৰা বি আমাকে ব্লেছিং দিব নহলে ভাৱনা আলাপ কথা আলাপ হইলেতো আমাৰ ব্লেছিং নাপাব নেকি আজি ইটো নিচিনা 17 Naga Unification Day celebration pura 3 day একটা গ্ৰুপই নহয় আমাৰ সিভিল সোসাইটি খান বি সব মিলাই পেলে নিজৰ কেপিচিটি পৰা নাম প্ৰায় নহয় পেলে নাগা লগা ভাৱনাটো কেনেকা পৌঁছাব এইটো সব মানুহ মতলব কৰি পেলে মন একটা হৈ পেলে কাম কৰি যাইলে ঈশ্বৰ পৰা বি মতলব কৰিব আৰু তাতেহি ৰাস্তা আছে এইটো কাৰণে আজি আমাৰ ইষ্টন ENPO পৰা ডাঙৰ দিন 17 Naga Unification दिन celebration पूरा हिसाब दे इसी देरी न जाए बले कालीपुर सुन तो अहिबो दिन दे तो नागा बले हुआ तो सब मिलाए बले इतो पर अभी तांगुर जगह दे मन मिलाए बले काम एकता बले भावना पूछो गानी आखा पूरा अच्छी अपना लोगों दे अपील करे से थैंक यू
We are all Christians, so we should learn how to forgive and forget each other. And this platform, this area, this place should be the place where strong unity should start. Because your nomenclature itself says it's a unification. So unification should start from this place. I can unification asa koi kena. I can disunity start hoile hobo to. I can laga propaganda agenda or ito I can laga action ala ka hoile ito tun hobo. Ito nimiti. I can unite kurbole kushis kurbola ke bile. That is the appeal from our Naga peoples. Second point to Alaga Sede. We are working for the Naga peoples. Our freedom fighters, you are sacrificing your whole life for our peoples, to save us, to protect us. But one sad thing I wanted to share with you. Since I've been from there, Dimapur Cosmopolitan Commercial Hub, we are receiving so many complaints, so many good things and bad things we are receiving every day. And we are working for those peoples as an apex body, apex organization of their commercial hub. Ami Khansop Bacha Khan ase. We have sons and daughters. We are giving them education. So we have to start their
life. Keep start kurbo. Thousands of Naga boys and girls are coming out, passing out from their different colleges and universities. Imanda has a holibi. Government, state government cannot give them white collar job. They are hardly observing, giving them job hardly 100 or 200. Only 1,000 to go job. They have to go for business. Business job lagibo. Many peoples, many boys and girls, they are very determined to run the self-employed service kurbole. I mean business kurbole tati jai. Only be one set thing I can complain receive crowd to kiase. Itu kan so baba khan to parents comes to dun man hoy to. So they are taking bank loan. Bank loan like in a business really ase. One fellow he came to us. Yes, sir. Ami parents to ami ke sponsor kurban ore. So I took loan, 5 lakhs loan from the bank. I started my business. Holi bi. Ita initial stage ase. Income to 1,000 per day. 1,000, 2,000 ula ase. Holi bi after starting my business. Tax manga to 20 plus fraction hi tax mangshe. Tita kunuba 1,000 manga se, kunuba 5,000 manga se, kunuba 10,000 manga se. Tita ami laga earning to 1,000 ase, 2,000 ase. Kot pride bo. Ami thar guru ke ne tu khan ke di thagbo ne ki. Aur ami laga loan pe recover kurbo nora ita ekdom problem te ase itu issue khan to hole take up kuri dibo lage bile inika aise. Tinika bisha ase de. Ami khan to Naga mano public khan baja khan nimti khali itu nimti kwa nai to. Freedom fighters, you have your childrens, ministers and MLAs, officers, civil society come Kurakan, you all have your own sons and daughters. You have given them education. But where that ko jabo tai khan education ba ko jabo. Chinese proverb ti ko if you plan for century, give them education, give the education to your children. Whatever education that kurbo, we have to start, they have to start their life. Whatever I can start kuratam de am khan kati dile kinika uchibo. Itu karni. I'm NSCN, you khali itu khan lugo kwa nai de. I am speaking in general. Faction kimana sa Nagaland. So itu huni bole kwa ase. So nimiti kwa ase.
As we commemorate 17th year of Naga Unification, I extend my warm greetings and welcome everyone assembled here. Friends, in the revolutionary history of Naga nationalism, the past 17 years of the GPRN and NSCN unification is a chapter to be inscribed in special letters, because even in the midst of chaos and brutal facridical acts, GPRN and NSCN has stood tall, celebrating each year the rebirth of Naga consciousness, reconciliation, and unity among Naga political groups. We have played important role with our partners in the Working Committee and in PGs. We had political negotiations with Government of India and successfully concluded the talks. GPRN and NSCN has always been very active to the idea of genuine Naga unity and reconciliation organized by the Church, FNR, and apex tribal bodies. Standing here before you, I confidently say that GPRN and NSCN exist to fulfill the hope of the Naga fraternity for a stable geopolitical territory where the Nagas and non-Nagas within and around will coexist in perfect harmony and move shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the world. The word insurgency no longer denotes to Naga political issue. In the agreed position, the phrase political and historical rights of the Nagas has replaced all abominable terms which demean the Nagas and their just struggle. The entities have negotiated and focused on the administrative and political considerations, among others. GOI has acknowledged the universal principle of the right to self-determination of the peoples and nations, and Nagas too must consider the political realities of the day. This understanding is the key and focal point. The Naga legitimacy through agreed position is absolutely clear in the considerations of India and Indian and South Asian conflict scenarios. As we have taken up the matters, the regional and global perception too will change. It underlines the need for a new political synthesis and philosophy. A people struggle and conflict stage long for sovereign independent nationhood always has historical and political basis. GOI has acknowledged it. Mahatma Gandhi, on the eve of Indians' independence, was absolutely clear about the right of the Nagas. This truth cannot be erased by any goodwill gesture. We base our argument on facts of history. A new foundation has to emerge in order to create powerful vision for the future. The present arrangement cannot sustain. Nagas are drawn in the whirlpool of social, economic, and political liabilities and impoverishment, dancing to the tune of others. This has to change. The Naga youth of today need institutions to achieve self-reliance with an effective, self-sustainable fiscal business and management regimen, acquire professional excellence in technological and managerial education. Our planning and delivering systems should rely on techno-economic forecasting models to create a world of our own. Social and political awareness and the right to reciprocate and react to matters of public concern should be guaranteed through a fair political environment. 17 years ago and prior to that, Naga intelligentsia and the societal institution was much fragmented, which led to the divide among the principal actors in the revolutionary movement. Individualistic and personal agendas could not sustain Naga movement, and so a genuine unity movement was necessitated, which led to the formation of NSCN Unification, which was declared on 22nd November 2007. Mushrooming faction is still a huge cause of concern, but the silver lining is that there is clarity on who is working for Naga Nation and who is self-enrichment in the name of Naga movement. Every national worker must understand that seniority, position, and status gain over the year is to strengthen the resolve and commitment to serve the nation, not build own castle and threaten our benefactors. Failure to follow this revolutionary principle will eventually force the people to face out selfish and inconsiderate leaders. Dear friends, from 2017 onward, with the formation of Working Committee and NPGs, a huge responsibility was given to me to coordinate with various groups, governments, and the concern in the Union of India. As we sat across the table, we could get a clear picture of what had been going till then. Negotiation table cannot be taken as a platform to argue, debate, or give lecture on history every time. Neither is it a platform to break, threaten others with international connections and what political and military damage one could inflict upon India. A principled historical stand, putting forth people's practical demand, will, and desire on the negotiating table is a higher degree of political immaturity and commitment at this hour. Former GOI interlocutor Mr. R.N. Ravi declared to Working Committee delegation that he will accept anything in writing form and that all matters of negotiations would be done on the table verbally. It was a rude shock. We insisted we wanted everything to be put on record, to which the interlocutor said it is for the government of India to decide, since others, probably referring to NSCN IM, were in a habit of conducting negotiations unrecorded and in verbal mood. Working Committee and NPGs had to stress for a healthy deliberations on all issues, very confrontative at times, but eventually the talks evolved and everything was officially put on record for reference and clarification in future. The political rights of the Nagas were addressed to be taken in totality, right from the unwritten periods of oral traditions, memorandum, to the Simon Commission, to the ceasefire agreement of 6 September 1964, to 6 rounds of negotiation that started in 7 October 1967, taken to be among the holistic historicity of the Nagas. In the eyes of the GOI, the only binding agreement in the considerations was the 16-point agreement, which the Working Committee and NPGs outrightly rejected. The government of India refused to accept the 1951 plebiscite on the grounds of technicalities. But for the Nagas, it denotes the will and determination and a turning point in their history. The holistic history of the Nagas, both written and unwritten, needed the absolute recognition together with the history of Indo-Naga wars after 14 August 1947. This is specifically inscribed in the agreed position of 17 November 2017. The government of India recognizes the historical and political rights of the Nagas to self-determine their future in consonance with their distinct identity. Thus, a new beginning was set into motion. We had to do it systematically without affecting the integrity and political configuration of India as well. Therefore, a relationship that is honorable, enduring, and an inclusive, peaceful coexistence with due regard to contemporary political realities was acknowledged as practical route. We are thankful to the prominent political observers, intellectuals, legal luminaries from Nagaland and mainstream India, including the former judges of the Supreme Court of India, our senior administrative cadres, political leaders, former legislators, retired bureaucrats, tribal leadership, NGBF, Student Federation, and civil society members for shaping the status paper and agenda for political negotiations in accordance with the agreed position. It runs into volumes and will be printed and documented for academic and political purposes. Each and every subject deliberated and amended are in the records. Before sitting across the table for negotiations, we had to look at the political and institutional structure of India, how the entire system works, the political philosophies, policy making, and integrated functioning of the constitutional mechanism, that drives the entire apparatus of India. A strong bureaucracy and a judicial system with an extensive political systems are a core of nation's asset at the negotiation table. We may see only the GOI interlocutor or a representative, but what holds him and surmounts he is to be understood. The GOI and the NSCN and IM talks and the framework agreement appear to be a non-disclosure documents, or rather undocumented parleys. Negotiations from 1997 to 2015 had failed to do justice to the Naga political issue. Everyone was shrouded to mystery save for a single-page framework agreement. Against this background, what was left before NNPGs was to create a carefully devised alternative to counter every stand of the government of India on the matter of political integration, alternative mechanism of amalgamation on matters excluding legislative domains, cultural integration, and other ways were deliberated. Integration is all about merger of other Naga areas with Nagaland. It involves several political processes and resolving several conflicts. Naga areas of Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh have several complications on their own. Most of these areas are backward with no infrastructure and connectivity, and other increments of development are yet to reach these areas. It needs much planning and economic growth levels to bring in economic integration. Towards this, the first step had to be separation of administration and legislature by creating new statutory bodies. Meanwhile, other sentimental and emotional issues and matters confronting other tribes within and adjoining areas have to be settled. To step into such a process, territorial councils for Naga areas of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam has been agreed into the settled position between Government of India and NNPGs. We do not accept the sixth schedule of the Constitution of India, and the reasons have been made clear why the territorial councils need a separate political structure that is not linked in any manner with that of Autonomous Council. Nagaland state was formed through a systematic process that took time. Naga People's Convention in August 1957 adopted the resolution for forming a separate administrative area by merging the Naga Hill district then under Assam and the Twin Sun Frontier Division of NEPA. This resolution was accepted by the Government of India through the NSTA Act in 1957. The Government of India itself created the new administrative area of Naga Hills Twin Sun area. The 16-point agreement was signed 3 years later in 1960. The Constitution was commanded to create a state in 1962. Nagaland became a reality in 1963. To form Nagaland, then in the 1950s, it took over 6 years. Naga integration is our people's legitimate right. Unfortunately, this is now a mere slogan to buy political relevance and create false hope. Had there been genuine political will and effort with proper system and structure, 27 years back, integration would have been a reality by now. Nothing happens instantly at the stroke of a pen. Officially on status paper of the GOI and the Working Committee and NPGs, the Government of India has agreed to constitute a high-power, empowered committee as per the agreed positions so as to work out the traditional boundaries of the Naga areas. Today, the process of integration of the Naga areas has been set into motion. We feel the sense of belonging, dedication, and commitment to our ancestral lands. It is also a reality that Nagaland belongs to the 17 indigenous Naga tribes and indigenous non-Naga tribes and settlers as on 1st December 1963. Any matter on the political or customary affairs of these 17 Naga tribes will be decided by mutual understanding within themselves. Nagas of Nagaland cannot interfere or decide on the affairs of the Nagas of Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. In the same way, our customary system prohibits intervention of other Naga tribes from Manipur or Arunachal Pradesh intervening in our political rights or customary matter. We must avoid irritation, intrusion, or coercion on land economy or governance. Our history and culture taught us to express brotherhood and solidarity during testing times. A separate form of government, constitution, defense forces, foreign affairs, flag are matters incidental to a sovereign independent nation. Such a political consideration of sovereign independent nation has to be written in black and white in any text of agreement. It was the toughest task for NNPGs to undo the damages done earlier in the agreement, so stated to have been made on 3rd of August 2015. The self-determination of the Nagas lies in the Naga identity. Absolute control over the land, its resources, customary laws, practices, and procedures. The sovereign power of the Nagas remains vested in the independent federal system of villages and territories of each Naga tribe. Therefore, a clear separation of the legislative powers from that of the Parliament of India has to be the first step towards achieving the vision of Naga nation. Towards this, the negotiation had led to the establishment of an appropriate legislative system in Nagaland. The bicameral legislature of Tatar Hoho will have an upper house of the Naga customary system called the Nagaland Federal Hoho and the democratically elected lower house called Lesi Hoho. This would be the appropriate legislature for all the matters that concerns the affairs of the Nagas. Nagas will have an insignia and Naga flag will be a part of the customary system of the Nagas. A separate page will be inserted in the Indian passport for the Nagas to reflect our identity on the free movement regime, FMR. Exemption will be made on the Indian passport for the indigenous people on both sides of the Indo-Myanmar border. The 1962 Indo-Myanmar border agreement can be reviewed by the Nagaland Tatar Hoho. In the present scenario, Nagas must put our heads together and deliberate. We must retrieve our historical and political rights through an effective political mechanism. Friends, we all know the principles and objective of NSCN unification was well laid on 22nd of November 2007 at the Hovishe Village Conclave under Newland District. The trust agreement signed between the then Kilonser of NSNK, Mr. Sesin Son, and the Kilonser of NSNIM, Mr. Ajeto Chopi, has withstood the test of time. The scope to create a wider platform to negotiate with Government of India became a reality with the formation of NSCN unification. We are stepping into the second quarter of the 21st century. Naga society has undergone a series of socio-political transition during the past 2 centuries. 19th century marked the beginning of external interventions, conflicts, and getting adapted to the contemporary administrative and political systems. Christianity as a religion and Christian mode of education entered the Naga society and consciousness. Dear friends, the Naga revolutionary movement was set into motion in order to achieve the objectives of absolute sovereignty and to emerge as a full-fledged nation of the Nagas. The ceasefire agreement of 1964 and the negotiation with Mrs. Indira Gandhi stands as a milestone in the whole political scenario where the negotiation reached the status of a protectorate nation like Bhutan. In 1967, India was still in the days of political infancy and reorganization of the states was not complete. 3 decades later, by 1997, when the NSCN entered into the ceasefire agreement, India had become a powerful country with a global standing. The ceasefire agreement, when it was signed abroad, failed to include the required parameters, including third country mediation, intervention of international organizations so as to achieve the objective of Naga nationalism. The Amsterdam Communique too could not set the agenda for negotiated settlement on integration of Naga areas and absolute sovereignty. The 3rd August 2015 made the Naga political issue an internal matter of the Government of India. This is a fact. The Government of India and NSCN IM deliberated the signing of the framework agreement with the Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister, NSA, Deputy NSA, the interlocutor, and the core of NSCN IM leadership did attend the ceremony to celebrate granting Naga integration, Naga flag, and Naga constitution outside the Union of India. Explaining 100 times wouldn't give you an answer. Soon after, the people of Nagaland heard utterances like Nagaland will cease to exist. Mistakes committed by anyone in the process must be admitted. Naga integration has to begin from the heart, not forced or dictated. Attitudes of dictatorship and domination will not pay dividends in a political initiative. I pray and hope that a new, vibrant, harmonious, peaceful time will dawn on the Naga people. I assure and guarantee our people that the GPRN and Unification will walk that extra mile to forge an enduring partnership with all Naga entities and leaders willing to forego personal ambitions. We must return to our roots and live by revolutionary ethics. Naga revolutionary leaders cannot act like fraudulent gold prospectors or property developers. In doing so, one will only attract and entice habitual thefts, scoundrels, social outcasts, and restless mercenaries, while driving away genuine and committed national workers. Once again, I thank you all for your presence and patient hearing. God bless us all. Kuk Nalin.